Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Pilates class I'm recording for the Friday Pilates Map folks. This is for the class on August 12th, and that is my daughter's birthday. So happy birthday, Em. I'm recording this in advance because I'm going backpacking, maybe in the Ansel Adams Wilderness. We'll see if the smoke clears, or we're going to go to the coast. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. All right, so let's stand up. I've had requests to do a little bit of everything. So today we are going to do a little bit of everything, but I'm also been working with people on shoulder awareness. And so I want us to do a little bit of everything with awareness of the arms. So come to a comfortable seat. And we're going to begin our postural alignment today with a focus from the sit bones up. So inner spiral the thigh, and be manual with your body. Take the inner thigh back and spread the femur bone. Lift your sit bone, reach for it, try to find it and take it back at a diagonal. Set that side down, inner spiral the other, lift the sit bone, take it out, don't be shy. And find that diamond of your pelvic floor. Now, if you still feel like one is a little heavier than the other, try to adjust that out. You may go back and forth a few times. And then we've broadened the diamond of your pelvic floor. Now, tilt your pelvis forward towards the pubic bone, come back upright, tilt back towards the tailbone. You're kind of C-curving your back. Come back up to the sit bones. Feel for a balanced pubic bone and tailbone. So we're not dropping the belly forward. We're not curling the spine back. We're upright with the pelvis. Now from that diamond of your pelvic floor, sit bone to sit bone, pubic bone to tailbone, think of where the lines cross inside the diamond and lift the center point gently up through the pelvis. This should line up with your spine. Lift and lengthen through the spine and try to kind of walk up the spine, noticing the different spaces, noticing where you and your body are compressed, all the way up into the inside of the skull. And then lift the skull out through the top of the head. Put your tongue behind your teeth. Roll it back along the roof of your mouth until you find where hard and soft pellets meet. Let the hot air balloon lift you from there. And as it does, let these low back ribs lift away from the pelvis. Let the side ribs lift away from the pelvis and feel your waistline elongate. And then let the heart center and the back of the heart lift, spine lengthening. Let the hyoid bone, the neck lift, the skull lift and lengthen the neck. Let the neck crease and the hyoid bone rest back and in. And then let's curl the shoulder blades around the body, bring the arm bones off the rib cage. And then bring the arm bones onto the rib cage, crack a walnut between your shoulder blades. And then come back off and crack the walnut. One more time, feel the shoulder blades move around the rib cage. And then bring them back on, crack the walnut, and feel how that juts your chest forward. Now let the hands of the shoulder blades broaden on the back without curling around the rib cage. So they come out nice and broad. And then let your shoulders sit broad. Base of the skull lifting away from the base of the neck. Can you rest the front body back into the back body front in to the front body. And let your arms come to the sides and inhale, reach skyward, lift with your thumbs and breathe deep into the low back ribs. Feel for the low back diaphragm descending towards the kidneys. Feel for the diaphragm mushrooming up under the rib cage. Feel as you inhale and the diaphragm descends, feel for space between the ribs. Try to breathe yourself broad, wide. And then exhale, let the arms slowly come down like wings of a bird. Lift the arms, let the elbows rest on water and lean back. So if you're a Wednesday's class, this is kind of how we ended. Find length lifting through the pelvic floor, lengthen up the spine. And lift one arm and lower and lift the other and lower. Keep both side bodies long, awareness of the sit bones, a lift from the center of the pelvic floor. And then inhale, reach the arms skyward. Exhale, let them come down like wings of a bird. And inhale, they come forward and rest, palms up. Spine's long, hyoid bone rests back. Spine rests back. And now float one foot up off the floor and lower, and the other, and lower. You're gently landing. So what we do when we begin with the work on the floor and we bring the foot back to the floor, we land gently, land gently. Now really lift the low back ribs away from the pelvis. Keep the spine and the back body long. And inhale, reach skyward. And exhale, release the arms like wings of a bird. And inhale, let the arms come forward and rest in water. Let the shoulder and arm bone rest heavy and lean back. And lift an arm in the opposite foot and down, and other side and down, other side, down, other side, down, activating the core, feeling the low back ribs. We inhale, sit up, exhale, release the arms like wings of a bird. Fluid breath. Sit with your palms on your femur bones and inhale, fill the belly. Fill up to the navel, fill up to the low ribs. And exhale. So we breathe in and fill the pelvis. Fill up to halfway up the waistline. Fill up to the top of the waistline. And we exhale. Feel for the diaphragm descending down into the abdomen. Feel for the diaphragm ascending up under the rib cage. Let the head rest back. Let the hot air balloon lift you. Space between the vertebrae, shoulders on the back, heart open, broad across the collarbones. Can you breathe all the way up to the lowest circle of ribs? And as you do, try to inhale and lengthen the waistline. Exhale, relax the outer body, still lengthening the spine. Inhale up to the heart center. Breathe the back body away from the front body, the side ribs away from each other. Breathe up to the tops of the collarbones and shoulder blades. Open the whole circumference of the torso. Exhale, relax while you lift the pelvic floor and lengthen the spine. Drape the outer body over the lengthening spine. Can you really reach as if you had a TheraBand up over the top of your head? One more deep, fluid, three-dimensional breath. And then let's bring our heels in line with the sit bones, hands to the heart and tilt forward and come up off your seat just a little bit, Utkatasana. Let's warm up the hips a little bit, warm up the quads a little bit, lengthen the back of the neck. Let your arms swing and lift up, look up, heart lifts. Bring the hands behind the head, traction the occiput away from the base of the neck. And exhale, release. Okay, so I want us to start today with some arm awareness. So we're going to use the chair in a second. That's why I'm leaving it there. I just want you to swing your arms. Just release and relax and feel how the humerus bone will kind of hang out of the shoulder socket. Now, a lot of us get really tightened up in the neck and shoulders, and that tightness draws the humerus bone up and it runs into the bone above it, and that can pinch different mobile tissues. So we want to create some space. Let the humerus bone hang down, let the arm bones hang down, and create some space inside the shoulder joint. So let your arms swing and try to just really let go of the fingers, the bones in the hands, the wrist, the elbow. And now try the other arm. Just really try to let it swing. Let there be space inside the myofascial network. And as the bones swing, let them come down into the fingertips. Let the shoulder joint release. Okay, good. Now, let's put a hand on the seat of the chair and let the other arm dangle and really think of letting it dangle out of the shoulder joint, and let's circle the arm. And really try to let this pendulum go. So you're not holding the arm bone up. You're not tensing the shoulder blade on the back body. You're just getting the arm circling, and then you're going to let it just circle. And even try not to make it move. Just let it circle until it stops. And then let's start it up the other direction. Circle until it stops. Can you exhale and relax? Your knees can be bent, right? Your spine long. We're just circling the arm. Okay. Easier when you're out away from the chair. So we're letting gravity do a little work inside the shoulder joint. This is really important. We want some looseness in there. Now, can you let it swing again? Swing. And if it's hard to have the hand on the chair, you could come down to your elbow. You could bring blocks in. You could bring a bolster in so that you're higher, especially those of you that are tall. Okay, you could even be up here with a block on the chair. We just want to get that arm loosening. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that arm feels a little longer now. Let's try the other side. Okay. And let's start with circling. We just circle it and then we let it go. And what I feel is even the shoulder blade pulls a little off the back. I get some tractioning action, fluid breath. Feels good. It's even stretching a little in my lumbar spine, around my SI joints. If I stretch the side body of the swinging arm long, I get a little different, let go. And then let's switch directions. Really try to let the fingers hang heavy, like they're weights inside the glove of your hand. Let the palm hang heavy at the wrist. Let the sandbag of the lower arm hang heavy to draw down the humerus bone out of the shoulder socket. And then let's swing the arm. Swing and let it go. Really try to let loose. Yeah. Okay. And then let's come back up to standing and let's circle the shoulders. So what does this have to do with our Pilates core? Well, a lot of times we get really tight and inhibited in here, and then we've thrown our postural alignment off. And we end up kind of shortening the core. What we want to do is have this long open posture so that we're even around the whole telephone pole of the spine and how we strengthen. So we need these shoulders to open up for that. We need this arm bone to release away for that so that we can do our hand weight work without any kind of impingement in the shoulder. Okay. All right. So now let's do a little stretch before we come down to the floor. We did this on Wednesday. Remember, you can have your hand at your hip and your hand right on a wall or inside a window casing or a door jamb, okay? Bring the other arm around and take your rib cage. So in this case, let's say I have my left arm on the wall, my right arm across my rib cage, under my left armpit, my hands wrap around the rib cage. And then I begin to walk slowly and twist slowly open. Now I'm pretty flexible, so I've gone farther than a lot of you will probably go. I'm keeping my head in line right now, but I'm holding on to these ribs and I am stretching them away from the arm. I'm not pulling them out of alignment. I'm not pulling the ribs forward and flaring the ribs. And I'm keeping the head of the arm bone back in its socket. And I may lean my head a little away. Ooh, and then I get up into my shoulder and neck a little more. I may play with having my hand a little lower or having my hand a little higher. Stretching this tissue of the chest open. Breathing three-dimensionally into the chest muscles. Can we stretch the myofascia and make more space so that we're strong and supple? Then we turn back towards the wall to release. Again, feel the difference in your body side to side. And then let's take the other arm up, either into the window frame or onto the wall. And before we start turning, we draw the head of the arm bone back, okay? And then we begin to slowly turn, hand across the ribs. This supports us so that we don't flare the ribs. but it also helps us bring these ribs around. And we breathe three-dimensionally into the body, and you can play with where the stretch is best for you, with the arm lower or higher. It's going to depend on how you carry tension in your own body. Fluid breath. Fluid exhale. Try to release and let the tissue release. Deep inhale, stretching the tissue open. Fluid exhale. Deep inhale. Few more breaths. And we exhale and turn towards the wall and release and roll the shoulders. Okay, let's come to the floor. Have your block ball or oov ready. Have your long TheraBand, have your circular TheraBand, just so we're ready for anything. Come down. Hands resting on the mat, shoulders broad, shoulder blades on the mat. Constructive rest. And right here, let's nod the head yes, and almost lift from the hairline. Can we almost lift from the hairline and rest the head of the arm bones back? Let them be heavy. Let your arms be sandbags. Let your shoulders be sandbags. Nod your head no. Nod your head yes. And then once again, nodding nose towards mouth. Almost lift from the hairline. The chin releases down. The neck crease releases back. We almost lift from the hairline. Feel your front neck flexors activate and release. Shoulders relaxed. Neck now relaxed. Float one leg to tabletop and float it back down, light as a feather. Other leg up and down light. Shoulders remain heavy. You're not efforting them into the ground. You're just reminding them, okay, you are heavy now. You are my stability. And then we float one leg to tabletop and the other to join. Back, ribs grounding back. Remember, you can put a blanket under your sacrum. Let's open the knees as wide as the shoulders and toe dip past and come back up and toe dip. Keep your awareness in the upper shoulders and neck. Your arms heavy. Yes, we're toe dipping, which we've done thousands of times before, but we're doing it with a real awareness in the upper body, feeling what happens in the upper body and seeing where can we release and relax. We come back up, we bring the shins parallel, we take the right shin out to the right and we exhale to center. And left shin out to the left and to center. Now, can the whole body touching the floor be heavy as a sandbag? Even the still leg, can it be heavy down into the pelvis? Can the arms and shoulders and head be heavy so that this one leg has all this grounded energy to move from? Fluid breath. And so this one leg gets to be the dancer on the stage while everyone else is still. Good. And then let's hug the knees in and circle wide and back together again. And take the circles the other way. Good. And then arms down, draw one knee into the chest, lengthen the other out. Almost lift from the hairline and switch and switch. Can you let the shoulders rest heavily back and really work with the legs from the abdomen? Arms are heavy, shoulder blades back. Good. Now lift the arms up. Take the left hand to the inner right knee, right hand towards the ankle. Hug the leg in. Let the head of the arm bones rest down, back towards the floor, and switch. So yes, the arms are moving, but you don't have to super tense the shoulders or neck. See if you can get those to relax pretty well. Fluid breath to release away from the ears and down heavy towards gravity. Good. Now hug both knees in. Lift wrists and ankles towards the sky. Zip up the midline of your legs. Hug the sit bones towards one another for a moment. Activating the glutes. Take the wrists away from the ankles. Circle the arms and hug the knees in. We reach, circle, and hug. Feel your arms in motion. Can you be fluid and graceful, remembering the circle doesn't have to be huge? Fluid movement. The arms don't have to be super straight. How does the humerus bone feel in the shoulder socket? Are your low back ribs resting back so your shoulders can have a little more freedom? One more. Reach, circle, and hug. Let your arms rest again to the sides. Really rest heavy. And take the legs out in a scissor and pulse. Pulse smoothly past, pulse, pulse smoothly past, pulse, pulse, and pulse, pulse. Shoulders relaxed, neck and jaw relaxed. Let's pay attention to the feet. Point the feet, flex the feet, point the feet, floint the feet, which means just draw the toes back to flex. Feel, reach out of the big toe ball mounds. Reach out of the pinky toe ball mounds. Reach out of the inner heel. Reach out of the outer heel. Now, can you keep that leg length long from all angles and relax the feet? The shoulders are still grounding back. The head is heavy. The low back ribs are heavy. Feel how your abdominals are working here. And then come back, feet together, let the knees bend, and double leg toe dip or come back to singles and exhale up. We inhale down and we exhale up smoothly, no momentum. Low back ribs resting back. We inhale and exhale. Shoulders are wide. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. Float the hands behind the head and exhale. Lift the left elbow skyward. Keep the legs where they are. Really reach the left elbow skyward. Reach the left ribs towards the right hip pointer. Rest the head back in the hands. Reach the elbows skyward, lifting the shoulder. Another micro movement off the ground. Come back to center. Reach the right elbow. Keep length in the spine. The head's resting back. Hyoid bones resting back. Can you lift the shoulder blade off the floor? Can you reach the elbow higher? And we switch again. And we keep the spine long. And we keep tractioning the back of the neck. And we switch and switch. Now let's add the legs. As the left elbow lifts, bring the right knee in. Left ribs towards right hip pointer. Rest the head back. See how long you can be from lengthened leg toe to the top of the head. And switch. How long can you be? And switch. How long can you be? And switch. Now feel into how the elbow's integrated in with the shoulder, and as the elbow lifts, it lifts that rib cage off the ground. Yes, you may reach your armpit towards the opposite knee. We're not doing this with our elbow because we don't want to flop. We want to reach one side ribs towards the opposite hip pointer. We're waking up our obliques. I bet we're all feeling it at this point. Let's come back to center, release. And let's float one foot slowly and lightly to the floor and then the other. Let's take a deep inhale. Let's bring the arms to our sides, and on our next inhale, let's float the arms up towards the sky. Lift the fingers skyward, lifting the head of the arm bone off the mat. Let the shoulder rest back and lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower and lift and lower. Let the arms be heavy down towards earth. Feel into that. Lift one more time, lengthen and reach the arms up overhead. Some of you may want to bring a couch cushion or a bolster behind your wrists. Some of you may be able to come to the ground. If you come to the ground, make sure it's not by flaring the ribs skyward or by jutting the chin skyward. We will support the arms if we need to, but what we're trying to create is myofascial length without following the path of least resistance, which might have us hinge at the low back to get the arms down, or hinge at the chin and head neck to get the arms down. Let's exhale, arms back up and over, and let them rest by your sides, palms up, thumbs out, and bring your right ankle over your left knee. And exhale, draw this leg in towards the chest, and exhale, release. And we draw and release. And draw and reach through. And if you need to, you can put a block under the lower foot. We draw in, some of you may use a TheraBand around the femur bone. We keep the neck relaxed back, the neck crease relaxed back, and even the shoulders. Even here, we don't hug them up off the ground to try to get closer to the legs. They relax and the legs try to get closer to them. And then we pause in the stretch wherever the stretch is best for us, and we breathe into it. We invite the hips to open. And then we exhale, release, and we switch sides. And we float up, arms release to the side, sandbag heavy. We float down. We float the legs in and we float them back down. And we float them in and we release and we reach through. Now notice, have you lifted your chin, neck, or low ribs? If you have, come out and use a TheraBand around the femur bone. If that doesn't work, lower the foot back to a block and let that be the stretching spot. Fluid breath. You may rock side to side to find where the stretch is deep and good for you. And we could be here all of practice if my body had its way, because these hips are tight right now. And let's come back to center and let's release and release and press the blanket out, elbows to the sides, palms facing across the body. Let the head of the arm bone rest back. It doesn't need to pop into the front of the rotator cuff. Let the shoulders rest away from the ears and lift the pelvis. And lower the left hip, lift the right, reach out the right knee and switch. Left hip lifts, left knee reaches, and we switch and switch and switch. We stay aware of the arms on the mat and we don't press the elbows in so hard that we pop the top of the humerus forward. We let the humerus bone rest back as well as the elbow. And we move from side to side and we strengthen our glutes, our hamstrings, and our low back. Let's come back to center and pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Reach the tailbone for the backs of the knees. And hug your sit bones towards one another and release. And hug and release. Can you stay aware of letting the arm bones rest back even as you hug and release and hug, release and hug and hold, or release and soften the heart and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Roll into your natural lumbar curve and come back to neutral. Arms are still steady here. You can go back to that same bridge work or lift one leg into tabletop. Now, as you press the elbows down, don't pop the head of the arm bones up. Elbows down, head of the arm bones down. Lift. Maybe we point the toe towards the sky and we lower the pelvis and lift. Lower the pelvis and lift. Stay aware of your shoulders. Stay aware of the humerus bone heavy into the floor. Yes, right here, your arms and shoulders are weight bearing. We lift and lower and lift and lower and lift. Flex the top foot and lower point and lift. Controlled and fluid motion, fluid breath. And one more here. And we come to the top and we pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lift the pelvis evenly, lower it to the floor and bring the top leg down. Let your arms rest. Let the arms come out in a T and breathe deep into the ribcage. Really let go and relax. Let the muscles inside the pelvis along the spine rest, and then bring the arms back in. Head of the arm bone rests back. Nod your head yes. Almost lift from the hairline to make sure the back of the neck is long, then relax it and draw the other leg in. You can stay in tabletop, 4 corners of the foot planted. We lift. You can straighten the leg if you like. And we lower and lift and lower and lift. Make sure you're aware of the humerus bone. Don't just press with the elbows. lift and lower and lift and lower. You're not pressing the head of the arm bone into the floor, but you're not curling it away from the floor either. Flex the foot and lower the heel, point the toe and lift. Keep the action fluid and smooth. And if this is too much, come back to the lifted bridge on both feet. A couple more. Tailbone reaches long. The arms are active and awake from elbow to shoulder, from elbow to fingers. And then pulse 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And lower the pelvis to the floor and release the foot and arms and let yourself breathe. Lots of good lower body strengthening and awareness, but we stay relaxed in the upper body too. We stay conscious rather in the upper body too. Okay, let's roll over onto our sides. And if you need a little support, roll your mat down for our side planks. Bring your heels in line with your sit bones, your knee over knee, and rainbow. You may almost lift from the waistline. Remember, with osteoporosis, you want to check in with your own doctor about where it's okay to weight bear. Those of you who can lift up, you lift and you exhale, lower, and we lift and lower, and we strengthen the side body. We weight bear on the arm. Fluid breath. This side is working to lift us up. And one more like that, or keep going, or you can lift up into the side plank here, or lower, straighten the legs, bring the top foot over perpendicular and lift into your side plank here. Use the foot to help with the lift in the hips. Make sure it's not too much for your arms. And if you'd like to, you can step into a side plank. Fluid breath. Aware, shoulder to shoulder. And then we release back down and let's unfold and let's come into a little side body leg work. Okay, remember you can use a pillow here. You could be here. You could double it up and have the arm perpendicular to the body, or you can have your arm elbow forward, hand under the head. Feet lift up. Now, top hand grounds, you feel that arm bone, you feel both shoulders. You feel this side body awake, and we open and close, open and close, open and close. Inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. We straighten the legs. We float one foot up. We kick forward. We bring the heel to the sit bone. We release the knee down and unfurl. Kick, bend, knee, unfurl, kick, bend, knee, unfurl. So we've gone right into an intermediate leg work. Try to stay aware of your shoulders, your head and neck, and that lower body in space. We kick, bend, knee reaches and unfurl, kick, bend, knee reaches, unfurl. Now go the other way, down the mat. Now right here, can you stretch long? Feel this underside body. Feel your myofascial crosses supporting you. Feel your shoulders. Heel to sit bone, knee comes forward, we unfurl. More of the classical bike. Fluid breath. Nice. And we move. Smooth, fluid motion. Isolating the movement in that one leg. And let's reach down the mat in little circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Foot over foot. Let's draw the line up. Lift, flex, and lower. Are you aware of your upper body? Even here as you work the lower body. We lift, bend, and straighten. Lift, bend, and straighten. Lift, bend, and straighten. Thank you. And let's try the other side. Okay, so we come to the other side and we really know ourselves well and we choose what's best for us. So when we come into the side plank, maybe it's just a lift of the lower side body and a release. We can all try that and see if you can feel the subtlety of that side body lifting up. Some of you will want to lift the hips in rainbow. and release. And inhale into the top ribs and exhale, release. And we lift and lower and lift and lower. You can stay with that or lift into your bent knee side plank or straighten the legs and bring the top foot over perpendicular, lift into your side plank, find that lift, stay here or stack the feet, broad across your shoulders, head reaching out from the neck wherever you are. Feel into the good work you're doing for the side spine. So now we've done front, sides, and back of the spine. Wahoo. Let's lower the hips, bend the knees, come up into your tabletop. And we inhale and come forward and we exhale back. Now remember here, you could be on forearms on blocks. You could be on forearms on a footstool. We inhale and we exhale and we pause. Okay, let's open the knees wide. Let's bend back into a child's pose. Lengthen the arms forward and breathe deep into this back body. Fluid breath. Can you relax any stiffness open? It's helping us open our shoulders. Stretch the myofascia of the back body, breathing three-dimensionally into the low back ribs. Let's come back up and we are going to lay back down, okay? This time, let's bring the ball under the sacrum. Let the arms relax out to the sides and float one leg to tabletop and the other to join. Now your neck is long and the shoulders are grounding back, the head of the arm bones releasing back. And we toe dip with shins parallel to each other. And we find our center, low ribs reaching for hip pointers, back of the neck long. Good, and we kind of get stabilized while we do these toe dips. And we come back up and we test the stability. Perhaps we bend the elbow, palm faces palm over the belly, head of the arm bones rest back. Take your page of the book out and exhale to center. Take the other side out and exhale to center. Keep your balance on your chosen prop. Feel into the back myofascial slings. So from shoulders down to hip pockets, from shoulder across to shoulder, from shoulder down arm to elbow, can you feel what's working? And can you become more conscious of this upper body's ability to stabilize you? Because this work right here translates to standing leg movement. Become aware of the shoulder to hip awakeness. Become awake to these muscles helping you stabilize, these myofascial chains. Now, lift the feet, come into your Pilates V. Take your feet just 2 inches apart and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inner thighs to heels lengthen and lower 2 inches and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold, lengthen. Find the outer hip reaching to the outer heel. Head of the arm bone still resting back, neck still long. See if you can lower again. And a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and lengthen back to the middle. Aware of the arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and lengthen. Come back to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn the feet parallel. Take a half a foot step. Big toe ball mound to the arch of the other foot. Legs as straight as is comfortable. We go walking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stay there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stay there. Feel into the arms. Can the head of the arm bone ground and relax down? And up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come into your Pilates B. Take your legs wider than your shoulders down the mat and together. Let your legs open as wide as they would like. Let your awareness stay in the upper body. Perhaps you let the arms settle down. The head of the arm bones settle back. Coming up the midline, we'll go straight back down the midline. Stay aware of your upper body. Fluid breath. How does it help you stabilize for this movement? How are the arms and shoulders connected into the pelvis and moving legs? What happens if you exhale through the milkshake straw? Does that help you find more stability? It works for me. Maybe during the exhale, you find a lift in the pelvic floor, or maybe you just feel the transverse and abdominis and multifidi turn on. And let's do one more. And come back together. Right leg overhead, left leg long. Come into your bicycles. Still aware of the head of the arm bone resting back. The hands heavy and relaxed. The upper body resting while the lower body works. Let's take the legs the other way. We're becoming aware of releasing the head of the arm bone back. Releasing the head of the arm bone in the shoulder socket so we don't shrug it up towards our ears. Lengthening the legs. And we come back up and bend the knees and float one leg down and then the other. Let's lengthen one leg out. And if it's comfortable, inhale and stretch the arms up overhead. Stretching the whole myofascial network. Yes, we've done a lot of hip flexion work through the pelvis. Can we stretch it open now, switching sides? Fluid breath, opening the body. And then let's step back in, lift up off the prop, lower down. Float the arms up one more time, fingertips towards sky, palm facing palm. Lift the arm bone away from the floor and release it down. And lift and release. Feel how much movement there is, how the humerus bone can reach forward and how it can release back. And that released back position is a safer position most of the time. So if you're standing up and you're reaching for a rake or a garden tool, feel how if you reach the humerus way out of the socket, you're compromising the joint a little bit. Let it rest back and up and back. But sometimes when we stretch open, we do want to take the arm bone out and then we lift the arms up overhead and we stretch. But if we're reaching for a tool or something heavy, you can tell how this might be a more compromised position. And then we exhale back up and we release the head of the arm bones back as we let the arms unfurl beside us. And let's roll ourselves over. And again, come into your tabletop or your dolphin. Okay, if you're using your hands, spread your fingers evenly. If you're on your forearms, bring your hands into namaste. Wherever you are, roll your toes under and lengthen the spine back and then lift up towards downward dog or dolphin. In dolphin, we press the forearms away. And then only then, when we found length in the back, do we start taking the femur bones back. In dog, we bend the knees, we take the sit bones wide, we lengthen the spine. We stretch and invite sky between the vertebrae in both poses. Remember, you can do these poses from a yoga strap around the doorknobs or around a banister and slowly begin weighting the bones. Fluid breath. Most of you probably in the spaces you're working in could put in some kind of an eye hook into the framework of your house. And then you can hang a strap from there. I'm remodeling all our houses to have yoga tools in them. So you're gonna have people over for dinner and people are gonna be hanging from straps around your living room. It's actually my goal. Okay, we've come down. Let's come back up one more time. with the intent of walking the legs towards the hands, hands towards the legs, bending the knees, unhinging from the pelvis and coming up. Let's inhale and reach for the sky, palm facing palm. Exhale, open into your goalpost. Exhale again and bring your pinkies towards one another. Inhale, open up, lift the heart. Exhale, come around. Inhale, open up. Okay, good. I still have 15 minutes. Fluid breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Can you feel into the movement of the shoulder blade? Because this class is as much about developing conscious awareness in the body as it is about quote unquote exercise. We lift and open, and then let's release. And let's roll one shoulder and then the other. Now here we're trying to stretch the myofascial network of the body. So you're lifting this shoulder and taking it away from the opposite hip. And we're stretching the myofascia open, and you can stretch across. Okay. And then I want you to feel for this. We stretch across from hip to shoulder, but you're really kind of lengthening sideways. Feel into how that stretches you open. Really try to find it as a wave-like fluid motion. Stretching, and then maybe it's more of a back stroke. And then take the elbows up and wide, wide, trying to get into the myofascia. Okay, let's bring your right hand across your rib cage to hold the rib cage and bring the opposite elbow away. And then away. We're stretching the myofascia of the torso open, trying to create more room in the upper torso. Good. And then release. Shake your hands. Shake up to the elbow, shake up to the shoulder, try to let go. Let it go. Okay, now lifting the arm. I want you to think as the arm lifts, release the head of the arm bone away. And then let the arm come back down. As you lift, let the head of the arm bone release down. Okay, so we're not lifting like this into the shoulders. We're trying to release this down as the wrists lift up and down. All right, let's pick up our hand weights if we want to use them. And let's find our shoulders on the back body. Bring the wrists forward of the shoulders and inhale, snow angel up. Feel the head of the arm bone descend in the shoulder socket so you're creating more space. Fluid breath. Fluid motion. Grounded feet. Energy running up the calves through the knee and down the shin. Down the hamstrings, through the knee and up the quads and through the groins. Pelvis aligned over the femur bones. Arms moving smoothly in their sockets. Releasing the head of the arm bone as the wrist comes higher. One more. Reach up at the top, palm facing palm. Reach and lengthen, breathe into the back body. And then open to your goalposts and pinkies together and pinkies wide. Check in with your knees. Check in with your pelvis. Check in with your hyoid bone. One more here. And now we press, ground through the four corners of your feet and release. And we press. That doesn't mean that arms come up around our ears. We let the humerus bone descend in its socket. We press and release and press and release, press and release and press and release. Maybe we press to the balls of the feet and release and press and release, press and release and press and release your arms and roll your shoulders. Let's take one and then the other. And let's take them wide and let's say to the myofascia, you can open up. I don't want you to tighten and constrict because I'm using hand weights. Let's inhale, open the arms to a T. feeling into the outer shoulder blade. Let the head of the arm bones rest down away from the ears. Lengthen the neck out of the shoulders. Fluid breath. Feel into your own strength. What's working? What could you align a little more comfortably? And release. And let's swing one arm forward in a jog and swing that back. And let the arms move and feel into your range of motion in your shoulder joint. Fluid breath. Can you keep the heart lifted, the inner collarbones lifted as these arms move? Fluid breath, letting the arm move. Feel how the spine moves. The arms and the spine's moving in some unison. Good, and then let's release the arms down and bicep curl, hands towards the shoulders and back down. Can you keep lifting the low back ribs away from the pelvis and lengthening your waistline even as you bicep curl? And then palms down, open the arms wide, turn the palms up and bicep curl in and release back out without hyperextending the elbow. Can the head of the arm bone still rest towards gravity, towards the floor? Doesn't need to come up around your ears. Fluid breath. And one more. And then let's come back to goalpost, bring the arms in and release. Let's put down the hand weights and let's lift up our TheraBand. And let's work on finding our stability in the shoulder girdle. So we bring the right hand to the hip, left palm open forward, knees soft. Let your hyoid bone rest back and really find both shoulder blades on your back rib cage broad. Now really ground the whole right side of the body as you open the left arm. Feel into the left shoulder blade. Low back ribs resting back, feet ground, hips grounded over the feet. Can you release the shoulders away from the ears? And can you still feel strong across the top of the rectangle, across the shoulders? Can you connect that in to the right standing foot's four corners? Can you lengthen out of the legs, lift up through the pelvic floor, lengthen the spine, and release, and roll the shoulders. Feel where the heat is from the work. Bring the band over the right hand, left hand to the hip, ground the left side body in your standing, which means find your shoulder, your low ribs, your pelvis connected to the four corners of the foot, connected to the opposite side body, open the right arm, find the right shoulder blade on the back. Neither humerus bone is popping forward. You're broad across the shoulders, lifting shoulders away from the hip pockets, grounding the feet into the earth. Check in with your knees, with your pelvis, with your low back ribs, with the base of your skull. Feel into your strength, lifting right shoulder blade away from left hip pocket, which is grounding into left foot, and release. And roll the shoulders and feel the strength. And hold the TheraBand in both palms. Place both elbows in their golf tees. And don't let them come totally into the side. Don't have them flare out. Try to keep them in their golf tees and open away from each other. And close. Now, if you have the tendency of having this humerus bone curled forward, you may want to look in a mirror. Try to keep it open and aligned. Elbow underneath, we open. If anything, it opens slightly back, but we won't want to do that by flaring the ribs. And we release. And we open. Can you reach out of the neck, ground down through the feet, and close? Keep your posture alignment. So we don't do this to open the TheraBand. We keep the torso strong so we can really work the shoulder girdle. And we do one more, open and pause, lengthening the neck, letting the hyoid bone rest back, and release. Roll the shoulders. Okay. Let's hold left hand down, right palm up, and stretch the TheraBand at a diagonal. When you get there, can you release both shoulders away from the ears? Can you take a few three-dimensional breaths? And release. And let's switch sides. Left palm up, right palm down at your diagonal, open. Release both shoulders away from the ears. Hyoid bone rests back. Check in with your knees, tibia under femur bone, pelvis on top of femur bones, spine lengthening out of the pelvis, back of the skull resting back, and release. And roll the shoulders. Let's bring the TheraBand up over the top of the head. Oftentimes we start here. Now, as we start to relax towards the end of the practice, we're ending here. From the four corners of your feet, stretch up through the legs, aware of the legs, the knee joint, the pelvis. Gently lift the center of the diamond of the pelvic floor up along the spine. Shoulder blades on the back body. Can you lift to the toe of one foot, keeping the heart and inner collarbones lifted, lift, touch, lift and touch, lift and touch, and lift and touch. Stand strong on the other foot, come to the toe, lengthen both side bodies, lift the low ribs away from the pelvis, lifting heart and inner collarbone, we lift and touch, lift and touch, lift, touch and lift and touch. Now you can stay with this, shoulders resting away from the ears, lengthening of the neck, or you can come to the toe of the opposite foot, lift and open, close and lower, and lift and open, close and lower, and lift, open, close and lower. Stand strong on the other foot, come to the toe, find your length, hug in from that outer hip towards midline, lifting through the pelvic floor. We lift and open and close and lower and lift. As you open, really ground that strong side body and close. This is your pages of the book. We lift and we open, we close and we lower. Let's release the TheraBand. And let's draw a circle with our nose. And draw your circle the other way. Good. And bring your left hand up behind the head. Thumb down at the base of the skull, palm right behind the head. Can you find your shoulder blade on the back body, which may include drawing the humerus bone back a little? Okay. Can you rest your head back here? Can you float the other arm up, palm down, and lift the base of the skull and turn to look out over those fingertips? Rest the head back into the hand. And then come forward and release and roll the shoulders. Now bring the right hand behind the head. Thumb at the base of the skull, hand wrapped around the kind of round part of your head, your skull. And the armpit is relaxing back and deep. We rest the head back into the hand. We float the other arm up. We begin to turn, but the hyoid bone rests back in towards the back hand. And we look out over the fingertips, resting the head back into the hand. It's not total pressure, but it's definitely resting back. And we release and let go. And roll the shoulders and pause. Fluid breath. Okay. Let's windshield wiper the arms up, thumbs down, and let them swing and up and cross, switch your crosses. Left hand forward, then right hand forward. Fluid breath. And then let the arms swing side to side. Can you shake the hands? Shake at the elbows, swing from the shoulder. Let the arms be heavy down towards the hand. Okay, then stop and pause. Find your shoulder blades on the back body, palms turn out. Relax the arm bones like they could hang heavy in like the pajama suits we used to wear that were the whole top bodysuit. Let your arms hang heavy inside the suit of your skin, the suit of your muscles. Lift the heart, lengthen the waist, the spine lifts you, but the arms relax away from the shoulder blades, from the collarbones. So the base of the neck gets a little stretch, and come to the toe of one foot and lift and perhaps lengthen the leg. You don't need to do this work with your shoulders. Relax the shoulders, bend and lower. Lift to the toe of the other leg, draw in from the hip, lift and lengthen the side bodies. Lift, press into the TheraBand overhead. Shoulders relax away. The neck gets longer as the shoulders relax away, but that doesn't mean you collapse the side bodies. And release. And let's inhale and reach skyward. And exhale, hands to the heart. And bring your left arm across the body. Hold the forearm, reach the shoulder away from the pull. Fluid breath. Breathe into opening the back of the shoulder. And release. And bring the other arm. Let's snow angel. Hands through the heart. Bring the right arm across, hold it with the left hand. Pull with the left hand as you resist with the right arm. Feel a stretch and opening in the shoulder joint, around the shoulder blade, around the back ribs. Release the shoulder away from the head. And release. Let's float both arms up. Bring the left arm over the right, either across at the wrists or the elbows. Inhale, a lift to the arms. Exhale, slowly begin to twist to the right until you feel in behind the left shoulder blade. Breathe into it. Breathe space along the spine, space between the ribs, space between the ribs and the shoulder blade. The head can continue to turn. You can look out the far right corners of the eyes. And then exhale, back around and release and roll the shoulders. And let's float the arms up, and this time bring right over left, cross at the wrist or the elbow, back to back or palm to palm. Fingertips rise, elbows release, shoulders release. Grow the neck out of the shoulders. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Slowly begin to twist to the left, breathing in under the right shoulder, the right rib cage. As we twist, we can look out the far left corners of the eyes, but stay with the breath, opening the rib cage and the shoulder girdle. Stay with, can you relax on the exhales? And then let yourself unwind and release and roll the shoulders. And nod the head no. And nod the head yes. And close your eyes and imagine there are eyes on the back of your skull, and turn to look with those eyes. They turn and then they turn the other way. Really look out the backs of the eyes, the backs of the skull. This is Feldenkrais movement. Really try to look out the eyes on the back of your skull. See what's behind you. Turn from the back of the head and notice how you may move differently. And then pause. Breathe into the glove of the body. Let the bones relax inside the glove. Breathe into the joints and relax. Three-dimensional breath. Creating space. Let's bring our heels together and let's bend. Lift the heels, zip it up and lower and bend. lift, zip and lower and bend, lift, zip and lower. Now lift, pause, feel into where your head is, where your shoulders are, bend, lower and zip, lift, bend, lower and zip, lift, bend, lower and zip. And let's inhale in to a wonderful weekend for all of you. I guess week, depending on when you choose to do the video. Let's inhale in. Good positive energy. And let's inhale in to growing health and awareness around our planet. Thank you. Namaste. All righty. I hope you all enjoyed that practice and that you stay aware in your upper body this week. Okay, see you next week. Bye.